Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Elisa. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you've stopped by my little corner of the internet. Typically on this channel, I'm kind of doing deep dives and deconstructing videos on the yin-yang methodology. If you don't know what that is, I'll leave some links and helpful videos down below. But every now and again on this channel, I also like to include my own personal kind of beauty aesthetic and style journey. So that's the basis of today's video. I'm sure you already gathered that by the title of this video, but today I thought it would be really fun to share with you some of my makeup collection. I didn't always have an extensive makeup collection. I don't really consider it extensive even now. I feel like it's pretty well curated, but I wanted to share that with you all just to kind of get some more about me out there. And those of you that might have a similar yin-yang balance as me might find this useful. So the hair is high today and I've got all my little makeup here. The theme of this video is going to be my eye makeup collection. So I'll save kind of my complexion products and my lip products for another video because I do feel like I have enough here to make this somewhat of a long video. We'll see. I always try to keep it short and it ends up being long, but yeah, I really want to share this with you all so that way you have just a better idea of what it looks like on my end. So we will get diving straight into it here. Some things to know before I show you everything is that I am warm toned. So I'm very fair and I am warm toned. So when I purchase my makeup, I do like to keep that in mind. I have noticed that if I get too much into the realm of cool toned makeup items, it just doesn't look as flattering as makeup items that kind of have like a warmer tone. It doesn't mean that I can't wear anything that's got maybe a silvery kind of undertone to it or something like that, but I try to use it in a very mindful kind of way if I do use it at all. But ultimately, my experience has led me to a place where warm tones is most definitely where it's at. And my makeup application has also kind of morphed over some time, even from some videos just a year ago, you might notice some differences. So I'll kind of walk you through my approach as I share these makeup items with you. So first off, I thought it would be fun to start out with showing you guys some eye makeup that is really, it just stays really well. So something else you should know about me, aside from me being fair, very fair and warm toned, is that I have hooded eyes. And sometimes it might be a little hard for you to see on camera, or you might not believe it because of the angle and everything like that, but I do indeed have hooded eyes. And a challenge with that is, eye makeup does not like to stay in place. So I actually found some eye makeup that I really, really love that helps with that. And I'll share some other tips with you guys. You know, this isn't like a hooded eye tutorial or anything like that, but I'll share some other tips with you guys that I found helpful. But these in particular are the Laura Mercier Caviar Sticks. And I adore these. These are so, so good. Once you put them on, you're able to kind of blend them out a little bit. Sometimes I use my finger to kind of pat things out. So they are movable, not, you know, you don't just have to put them on and then what's there is there. So you have some time to work with them and then they dry down and the finish of all of these is just beautiful. So I have 3 that are in the finish that's a little bit more kind of metallic. So you can kind of see there, it's got this really beautiful kind of metallic shift. And I have one that is actually kind of matte. And I love to use this one, so you can clearly see the difference there. I'm not like a beauty YouTuber professional swatcher over here, but you can see the difference. And what I love is, especially with this kind of neutral color right here, is I can lay that down and I know that my makeup isn't going anywhere. So this is really great for the kind of no makeup kind of days. So this one is actually in the shade All Natural. And then I have 3 more here. One of them is I would say on me, it applies a little more cool toned. That's the thing that I do advise with makeup and stuff like that. Sometimes, depending on your undertones, your overtones, the effect that's created from the pigment might vary a little bit. So on me, there's one here called Moonlight, and this one is actually, it's the one that I swatched here. It's a little more silvery, and you can even see that on my hand. And on some people, it's not quite that silvery. It comes off as just a little more taupe. So I have that one. I have metallic taupe, and this one is supposed to be slightly more warm, but again, on me, it kind of comes across as not the warmest, and especially because it has that metallic. I have other shadows that have that kind of metallic. I love the metallic look. And then this one is, I think it's called Khaki. It is called Khaki, and this one is a beautiful kind of olive color. So these are some really great shades for people that are fairly warm toned. I mean, some of these are kind of neutral, but mostly for individuals that have hooded eyes like mine. And then I have two other eye products that I use that are kind of within like the cream stick realm. They're both from Marc Jacobs. When it comes to makeup, I don't mind investing a little more money because I don't notice a high turnover rate with a lot of these products, and I want something that's quality, and I'm just, happy to have in my collection. So this is my go-to one from Marc Jacobs. I don't know, it's just called Cocoa, and it's this beautiful, I always use it to tightline the inside of my upper eyelid just to kind of add a little bit of depth. But it is this beautiful kind of like metallic brown color, which I really love, and once it's applied, it stays on, it doesn't smudge off. It's really, really great quality. And then I bought the limited edition one in olive because for me, I have these honey brown eyes that also have like little notes of olive in them, and when I wear olive shades like this close to my eyes, it really just brings out the vibrancy. That's why actually olive is one of my best colors. If I could find more garments in olive, I would be so happy. But this is a beautiful, beautiful pencil that I wear if I'm wearing maybe something that's a little more deep. So this is kind of my go-to. I always use it just no matter what look I'm wearing because it kind of just adds a little more definition to my lash line. And then this one is specifically for deeper looks. So love, love these. Okay, so next up is kind of a category. I guess I'm kind of going in category order. So these types of products I absolutely love, again, because it helps me maintain a pretty makeup look with my hooded eyes. So these are my cream kind of eyeshadows that dry down. So the first two are from the same brand. It's from Too Faced, and these are called their Melted Chocolate Matte Eyeshadow. I have one that's kind of a cream color. You can kind of see that there. And then I have one that's just a little deeper. So they're both warm toned. And what my favorite thing to do is with these, because I know once I put one of these on, my makeup is not going to budge. I'm not going to get creasing or anything like that. And I have really, really oily lids too, on top of having hooded eyes. So these are like amazing. So what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of this on, and I like to get a brush, kind of like a densely packed kind of brush, so the bristles aren't like super movable, something that I have a lot of control over. And I'll just get the little doe foot applicator out like this. I'll kind of pick up some product, and then I'll just blend it out on my lid. It does start to dry down relatively quickly, but I always have enough time to blend it out, and I do one eye at a time, and then I'll use another product of mine that I'll show you to kind of dab on right there at kind of the middle of my eye to add some dimension. So these are budge proof. I love these, and I was so happy too because this particular brand in this formula, they have a limited shade range, so it's all within the shade range of like browns, neutral, very neutral in the brown kind of color family. And so I wanted something that was a little more pinky because I have been really enjoying very yin makeup looks. I feel like it looks so flattering. And luckily, Rare Beauty actually came out with their own liquid eyeshadow that dries down and stays. It's long wearing and I love it. It's in this really pretty pink color. And this one is a little bit more forgiving. So if I put these on, and another thing about these is they're very, very pigmented. So if I put it straight from the doe foot applicator straight onto my eye and then try to blend it out, it's a little bit harder to work with. So I like to go in with a brush straight from the applicator and then blend it out. This one though, I can put straight onto my eyelid and it's a little more forgiving. And you can see this beautiful kind of pink color here. Just looks so flattering and fresh on my eyes, and I don't have to worry about it sliding off of my oily lids. So I use this quite often as like a really pretty base, especially for days that I want something a little more fresh. So, highly recommend those for anyone that has hooded lids or oily lids for budge-proof makeup. Okay, next up here, I'll show you my little collection from Chantecaille. I love Chantecaille. I've talked about this brand before in one of my videos. It was kind of like, these are a few of my favorite things from like, I think back in December, I was trying to be all cute about it. So anyways, Chantecaille has these gorgeous little single pot eyeshadows. I love these. These are buttery smooth. They come in a few different shades. I bought a couple of cool tone ones that I thought were going to work out for me and they didn't, so I gave those away to my sister-in-law and she's making good use of them because she really thrives in the cool toned kind of makeup. But they are just beautiful. These are so gorgeous. They're just buttery, buttery smooth. And these are the type of eye shades that I will put on after I put on my trusted matte eyeshadow, the cream to matte eyeshadow. And I'll just dab this on right in the middle and it just adds the prettiest little dimension without making things complicated or anything like that. So these are, you can kind of see here, they're just a really, really sophisticated formula. They're so easy to work with. I can blend out any of these colors. So I have copper. I have a shade called Seashell, which is so pretty. It's got like these kind of warm toned gold reflex in it. None of them are ultra glittery though. So what I can do is actually put it all over the lid and I can even blend it out a little bit and it still looks like a sophisticated eye. It doesn't look like I have specks of glitter going all over the place. So these are most definitely more in the metallic family. So I also have a shade called Starfish, which is this really pretty, and it's hard to pick up on camera here. Maybe if I do a little swatch of it, you can see. It's this really gorgeous purple color. It's not quite coming off on camera, but it is beautiful, especially if I want to do a deeper kind of look. I love to use this around Halloween with some of my olive shades and kind of do like a riff on a Frankenstein look. And then I have what is my go-to from Chantecaille, and if I'm really feeling in a rush and I don't want to use my cream eyeshadows that dry down and everything, because it does take me just a little bit longer to get it just right, this is a shade that I absolutely love. It's called Sylvie. They say that it's a matte, but it's more of a satin. This is just a really, really great neutral. If you are fair like myself and are warm toned, this all over the lid, blend it out. It blends like a charm. You don't have to have any makeup skills whatsoever. Blend it out and then tapped on with a little bit of that seashell or a little bit of that copper just right in the middle of your eye to kind of bring some more dimension in is gorgeous. That is essentially my everyday look if I'm in a rush and I just kind of want to put something on. So love these little single shadows from Chantecaille. And let's get into some of these palettes that I have. Okay, so I'm not huge on collecting palettes. In the beauty YouTube world, there are people out there that have palette after palette. And when I was looking to curate my makeup collection, I wanted items that I knew were going to be staples, and I didn't want to have a lot. I didn't want to have this abundance because I'm also an extremely indecisive person. And given the opportunity to have a lot of choices, I'm indecisive. I can't decide. And even with my pared down collection right now, sometimes I sit at my vanity and I'm like, what am I going to wear? So I say all that because I don't have that many more palettes to discuss with you guys. And before I get into the kind of standalone palettes, I have my own Curated palette. So this is something that I created on my own, and I'll open this up and hopefully nothing will fall out. So something to note about this is these up here are shades that I just kind of have my reservations about. I keep like this blue one, I keep just in case I'm feeling extra fun. If it's like New Year's Eve or something and I'm like, I want to do something crazy, but this is definitely not something I wear every day. And then these shades up here are actually a little bit lower quality. This brown is also a little bit more cool toned, as well as this kind of gray shade. And this is just a little too dull on me. So these are just like my not great kind of category. But down here, we have the creme de la creme of my singles eyeshadow collection. I'm huge on singles. If I feel like I look at a particular eyeshadow palette and there's only like a select few shades that I'm really feeling inspired by, instead of buying that palette and having a palette where like it has it's just another palette with a deep brown or a neutral transition shade or something like that, I'll look to see where I can find a single of the shades that are really inspiring me. And that helps me to stay more pared down and be a little bit more of a cost-efficient consumer. So here, I am desperate to swatch these for you all, especially over on this side right here. This is my favorite side. I have got some beautiful rose golds here. I've got this beautiful bronze shade. Even though I'm very fair, bronze is one of my best colors. If I could find clothes that like I wanted to wear for a very deep look, like if I was doing some sort of red carpet, nightwear, evening wear kind of look, I would definitely want to try out a bronze kind of dress, but no one ever makes bronze. So it goes on the eyes for me. And that's especially when I'm doing a deeper kind of makeup look. So love these. This is also another kind of, it exists in the bronze world. And then I have some really pretty kind of like pinky shades. This is a little bit more of like a metallic silver color, but I can still wear it. And especially if I want something a little extra pizzazz on the eyes. And then over here, this is such a beautiful, it's not picking up on camera at all. It is this gorgeous foiled pink shade, and when I put it all over my eyes, it's just, I light up, my skin lights up. It's amazing. Even though it's a little bit more cool with the undertone, I can still make it work. It's still got like this light catching quality that just works so well with my yin features. And then over here we have some more kind of playful shades. I kind of have like a burgundy, which looks really nice against my brown eyes, and some greens. So this is just kind of like my go-to little collection. I feel very at home here. These are also shades, most of them, where I can put them all over my lid. These are kind of like my one and dones. Okay, so next up, I have one of my oldest kind of eyeshadow palette. This is like a eyeshadow palette that it's my only, I guess, well, no, I have a couple other eyeshadow palettes, but it's an eyeshadow palette that I splurged on, and I'm so glad I did. It was my first like big buy in makeup, and let me grab it and show it to you guys. Okay, so we have here the Natasha Denona. It's a little messy, so sorry about that. But I have the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. And if you are warm toned, this palette is so good. I'm not here to sell you guys anything. Buy what you like, or if you find some shades in here that you're inspired by, buy some singles. But I am here to tell you, I didn't realize that I was going to love this palette as much as I do, or that it was going to be as useful as I originally intended it to be. Because I saw a couple of colors in here and I was like, that's really pretty. And then I saw some makeup looks, and the color story in general is just so beautiful and unique to me that it was just a beautiful object that I felt like I had to have. I know that sounds, kind of like, needy, like I want. But this was just something that I really felt like I wanted for myself. I wanted the experience, especially what everybody was sharing online about it. So I didn't even understand really how to use some of these brighter colors like this orange. That wasn't really something I was intending on using, or some of these blues. I really love the blue looks and everything, but I was just really excited to have it. And there's a lot of metallic kind of finish shades in here. So everything in here is really, really, really beautiful on warmer skin tones. This is a very warm tone palette. Of course, we do have some blues in here and kind of some teal colors, but those on the eye actually, if you have like brown eyes, they actually create a very beautiful contrasting effect, which really brings out the vibrancy in your brown eyes. So it still works beautifully, but you can see here that some of my favorite shades to dip into, I try to keep it clean, but are like these bronzes. Sometimes around Halloween time, I'll just go straight in with this orange and just do like a straight up orange eye or something like that. But I love this palette. It's so good with my warm undertones, and I again want to desperately swatch this for you guys because it doesn't do it justice on camera just like this. There's some beautiful like olive tones that, like I said, I really love to put all over my eye if I'm doing like a deeper kind of look, because although I am quite yin and like fresh makeup looks like what I'm wearing today look very, very harmonious on me, I still have a little bit of depth to play around with in my hair color and in my eye color. Sometimes I just want it to be a little bit deeper in tone. So the olives in here, like I said, just play so beautifully with my warm undertones and with the olive in my eyes. And I didn't realize that my eyes could kind of light up and kind of have this green kind of effect until I started playing around with some of these greens, especially this green right here, which looks super intimidating. It looks kind of like a pea soup green, but when you do it correctly on the eyes, it just has the most beautiful effect. So this is my coveted Metropolis palette from Natasha Denona, and although I've entertained getting other palettes from her, I just feel like I'm so complete in this. It's everything that I need along with my singles. But one thing that I will say about this is it does lean a little bit more in depth. So it's not something, if you are a very kind of yin leaning individual whose balance calls for something a little bit more ethereal, a little bit more ingenue, a little bit on like the lighter and airy side, you might have difficulties with this palette. It might end up making things look a little heavy for you, but I personally have enough depth to kind of balance that out where it works, and I've kind of learned how to apply this particular palette to my benefit. Plus, there are some really nice kind of metallic shades that help kind of restore that that kind of shine, that kind of sparkling quality. So anyways, I have rave reviews all the way around, but I want to move on to two palettes, the last two palettes that I own that I feel like are really approachable for those of you out there that might have a similar balance to me, might be very yin leaning, fair, warm toned, and are just really easy to use. So the first is this gorgeous little pink palette from M Cosmetics. It has the cutest little packaging. I just really, really love this little thing. So it is, like I said, a warm toned pink kind of muted palette, but we still have some metallics here, which really helps again to kind of restore some of that natural sparkle if you have that, and it really plays well with a lot of rounded features. So it's just, this isn't the most affordable little eyeshadow palette, but it's really great quality. I've had a wonderful experience with it. I actually have this shade on all over my eyelid right now. Again, my hooded and oily lids have kind of, taken over here. Sometimes it wears off kind of quickly, but sometimes I'll take that Rare Beauty pink eyeshadow and then I'll put this over it and it lasts a little bit longer. I just didn't feel like doing that this morning. But yeah, it's so pretty. And you know what? I am just a sucker for any sort of metallic shade in the rose gold kind of arena. And there's a couple of these metallics in here where you can just put them all over your eye and it's like it's a one and done. It's a one and done and it's really beautiful. I feel like actually any of these could be kind of a one and done. You might want to add a little bit of dimension with a couple, but this is just a reliable little palette that I feel like I could take with me if I was doing some sort of like little vacay or something like that. And it was just well worth its money. I think it was, I didn't talk about price. The Natasha Denona one was quite expensive. But I think this little one was somewhere in the $35 range. However, I have a palette that I actually really love. It's the last palette. I'm going to show you my collection. It's the last palette that I have in my collection. And it is the Maybelline Nudes of New York. This has been a very useful palette to me. I was going on a trip not too long ago, and it was before I had this little compact, and I didn't want to bring any of my more expensive makeup. A lot of my makeup collection, as you saw, like I got Chantecaille, I've got my Natasha Denona, and then, I've got these single shadows. I didn't want to bring anything that was going to be fussy. I didn't know how I was going to bring my single shadows. So I wanted to get something that was affordable and was going to work for me and I could do some nice looks while I was on this little trip. So this is what I settled on and I'm so glad that I did. This has got all of it. This could, in theory, replace probably around, I don't know, 75% of my collection. Like I could probably keep this in my Natasha Denona palette and get some pretty similar looks, but I love all my other makeup, so it's not going anywhere. But this is a really good thing to have as a backup. And actually, sometimes I find myself reaching for, this little pink shade right here. It's not coming off as pink in the monitor, but let me see. I'm kind of running out of room here. Ooh, look how pretty that is. I'm just a sucker for like metallic-y kind of shades on my eyes. I just think they're so pretty. So it's got kind of a pretty little pink section over here. We've got some really pretty purples that are actually still really wearable on me. Even this lighter one that is kind of coming across as slightly pastel, slightly chalky on here, it does not come across that way once I apply it. It doesn't fight against my warmer skin tone, which is great. And then down here we kind of have these coppery golden shades. Again, like the lighting in here is not doing it any justice, but there's a lot of variety. We have neutrals up here. I mean, you can create so many beautiful looks with this. We also have this really beautiful bronze color that, I love to put this on because it just, you see that? It's this one right here. It's so pretty for deeper looks, or if I want to do something that just kind of catches the light a little bit, again, kind of on the center of my lid. So this is just so versatile. If you are yin leaning like myself, you can see that it's not overly deep like the Natasha Denona palette is. It's going to play really easily with fair skin tones, and it's really geared towards neutral / warmer. Obviously people with like a cooler undertone could still use this, but there's so much variety for all of you warmer toned gals out there, especially if you're fairer. So yeah, I absolutely love this and I wasn't expecting to, but it has found its home in my collection. So that is my eyeshadow eye product collection. It's not the biggest, but it's also not the smallest. And I honestly can't wait to share with you guys my other kind of makeup categories, I guess if we want to call it that. My lip collection. I love this lipstick that I'm wearing today. I mean, obviously I love all my makeup. That's why I own it. But yeah, I can't wait to show you guys my lip collection, my blush collection. I have an affinity for blush these days. So I hope this was helpful for all of you out there that are fair and have warm undertones like myself. And I'm curious, are any of you all fair with warm undertones? Do you have a certain palette that you really love? Do you have any single eyeshadows or colors that you really love? I would love to know in the comments down below. I'm kind of always kind of perusing around. I'm not really looking to expand my collection a whole bunch, but my curiosity gets piqued every now and again. So I think I have a pretty well-rounded collection for what I need, but I'm always open to other possibilities. So anyways, that is all that I have for you today, and I will see you at the next video. Bye.